So, I don't know. I mean, last night was almost the final straw for me. I don't know if it's worth carrying on. I mean, I bought some rope, and I don't know.
Have you seen The Night Manager?
What's that? So, Ali, should we talk about Night Manager?
Yeah, I mean, for those who haven't seen it, it's a 6-part BBC drama series, co-funded by AMC. Stars Tom Hiddleston, Hugh Laurie, Olivia Colman, the guy in 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Tom Hollander.
Him.
As a British Joe Pesci in Goodfellas.
What do you mean, don't be like... Take your hand off my lobster.
It's based off a book by whose name has completely slipped my memory.
John le Carre, the writer of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy with Gary Oldman.
Oh, yes. And it's generally fantastic. It's been running. We've had 5 episodes. We've got 1 left.
Yeah.
This review will be spoiler-free.
Yeah.
And it's just brilliant.
It's Tom Hiddleston as a lead, where he is... Essentially, he's a mole infiltrating Hugh Laurie's organisation.
He's a super sexy mole. He's a very... Tom Hiddleston is so charming, and Hugh Laurie is so charming. I mean, I honestly think you could have this show and it could be terrible, and sex appeal alone would still carry it quite well.
Hugh Laurie, he's kind of pulling his old house appeal, which would make American audience like him, but actually doing a British accent.
We should just say, it's coming out in America in May, I believe, on AMC.
Yeah.
This is the BBC saying, money. It comes across as the response to HBO. It's the highest budget drama they've ever done. They've got locations, lots of big names. There's a set piece. You haven't seen episode 5 yet. There's a set piece in episode 5, which is basically dollars. It's just it smells of money. I think it looks very, very well produced. They're going from that first episode. They're Egypt, then they're in Switzerland, then they're in other place, Mallorca. It came across very polished.
Yeah, but okay. So you seem to be like from what you just said.
This is the second coming of Jesus.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, it's very good. It's very competent, but I think it's treading on very well trodden ground. The whole. I'm a mole infiltrating an organisation. This has been done before, to death. Reservoir Dogs, City of Fire, I think, which Reservoir Dogs is based off. The Departed, Infernal Affairs, Donnie Brasco.
Obviously, it's adapted slightly from the original source material about the war on drugs.
Yeah.
I think it's done very well, slotting the Arab Spring in very naturally, and updating it to military stuff, because war on drugs is kind of old news. This is I think it's quite a fresh sort of context for it.
It's a fresh context, but the actual substance of the meat and potatoes of like the actual plot and the character arcs and that kind of stuff is nothing particularly new.
No.
I mean, it's refreshing that it's set in a British crime setting. I mean, like as shown on TV. But I mean, I'd recommend it to a lot of people, but I wouldn't say it's like the second coming of Christ.
Okay, okay. But I think it is groundbreaking. Not maybe groundbreaking is the wrong word, but it's the first.
It's sexy.
It's very sexy.
Everyone bounces off each other very well, especially the relationship between Tom Hiddleston and Hugh Laurie. Even though that type of relationship isn't anything new, it is still very well delivered and well done. And Tom Hollander's great.
But I think you can forgive the story because it doesn't revolutionise, but it's just taking high-budget British drama is not something the BBC really do very well. You've obviously got Sherlock, Doctor Who, maybe Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders has got Tom Hardy.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
And Cillian Murphy.
I've only seen a few episodes of that.
Yeah.
I take that back.
But yeah, carry on.
Has he got a Birmingham accent in that?
No, he's completely unintelligibly Cockney.
He's not from Birmingham.
No, that's Cillian Murphy. That's Cillian Murphy.
Oh, I thought it was one about Birmingham.
It's great.
I'm going to speak like this the rest of the review, I think.
No, stop it.
Because everybody loves
Stop it! I want to talk about something quite briefly which kind of annoyed me a little bit, which I mentioned to you before, where one thing that didn't quite click for me was the way it was shot and edited. I mean, because I felt that editing is a bit unnecessarily hectic and crowded. In episode 2, Olivia Colman and another dude are basically just like just like hardcore briefing Tom Hiddleston sitting in a chair that are like, you gotta take him down, Hugh Laurie's a piece of shit, you're gonna break the law to get him fucked up, you know. And there's like there's 10 cuts a second, firstly, for no reason. I mean, it just goes back and forth, and then there's a shot. We said there are 3 people in the room, right? Olivia Colman is talking to Tom Hiddleston, but then for no reason there's a shot from behind the head of the other guy who's not saying anything, or it doesn't cut to a reaction shot of him looking at it. It just seems completely out of place. Why?
To an extent, we're there, and it's meant to sort of just. It's more than. I think it would feel very small if it was just Tom Hiddleston and Olivia Colman.
That's why you get good performers, you get good actors, and their performances sell it enough. You don't have to have 50 cuts a second. You just like, it will do with. Honestly, I'd be happy with just 2 shots. Get the actors well directed and perform well, and I'm happy with just 2 shots.
But it does it adds intensity. Whether that's artificial or not, I don't know. I think having the third person behind his shoulder, it does create some sort of feeling of an audience. How valid that is, I don't know, but it means it makes it more theatrical.
It takes up like a third of the entire shot. And I understand also that there's a kind of a voyeuristic espionage feel to it, but to that extent, it just becomes irritating and distracting.
It has a purpose, it fills the frame, but it doesn't cover anything important. Just some depth to some depth to the shot.
Yeah, that's the rule number 1 of cinematography. To that extent, it just becomes distracting. It just takes away from.
I mean, I have no complaints about this.
Right. I acknowledge it's nitpicky stuff. It's just something that I picked out.
This is more anal than Bum Bandits 4.
Yeah. But I mean, generally, I would recommend.
I definitely would recommend it. If you haven't got the gist of it, it's great.
So, what have we learned from this conversation?
You should watch Night Manager.
Tom Hiddleston would make a great Bond.
He should come around for a drink sometime.
And I no longer want to kill myself.
Like and subscribe for more TV videos.